Hello students. So students, in the previous class in this chapter, that is nutrition in animals, we were talking about that of the digestion process, that how the digestion process occurs from mouth to that of the intestine. Till that, we had discussed that what happened when the food entered into the mouth, what happened when the food entered into the esophagus, and finally when it entered into the stomach, what are the different digestive juices which help in the stomach. So in the stomach there are a lot of digestive juices which work on that of the food material. So basically what happened here, the stomach, the lining of the stomach used to release a lot of juices, and which will include that of the hydrochloric acid, then other digestive juices are there, and mucus is there. If you talk about the mucus, students, so basically it is helpful in protecting the stomach from any kind of erosion which can be caused by that of the hydrochloric acid. You know that hydrochloric acid is what? It is acidic in nature. So that could harm the lining of the stomach, that could harm the stomach itself. So mucus, it is present at the wall of the stomach and help in the wall of the stomach and help in protecting it from the acidic nature. Now, if we discuss about that of the hydrochloric acid, so there are two roles of hydrochloric acid. The first is that because of being acidic in nature, that will help in killing the germs which enter into the stomach and protect our body from the germs or the bacteria that can harm us. Second thing, that since it is acidic in nature, it makes the medium acidic, and due to which the digestive juices can act, or digestive juices can work on that of the food material. So we can say here that it will help in making the acidic medium, due to which the digestion of the food can occur easily, as well as it will also help in killing the bacteria which can harm our stomach or causes harm in our body. Now now if you talk about the digestive juices, so basically the digestive juice which is present in the stomach, that is there to which it acts on the protein and help in the partial digestion of the protein. Now this partial digested food will enter from the stomach to the small intestine. Now in the small intestine, basically we have seen that first of all there are intestinal juices are there, as well as small intestine absorption of the food also occur here. So how the juices are there which help in the complete digestion? So we know that in case of a small intestine, it receives juices from liver as well as from pancreas. Liver help in the breakdown or in the digestion of the fats that we used to take in the form of food, while that of the pancreas, it used to release the digestive juice which help in the digestion of everything. It means it help in digestion of a protein, it help in digestion of fats as well as that of the carbohydrate. So intestinal wall releases juices as well as the pancreatic juice as well as the juice released by that of the liver help in the digestion or help in the complete digestion of the food into the smaller soluble molecule. So this is the first thing that we have understood about the intestine, student, in which we have discussed that how intestine help in complete digestion of the food into it. Now the second thing that we are knowing about the intestine, that it will help in the proper or in the absorption of the food material. Okay, so the next step is absorption of digested food. Absorption of digested food in small intestine. Absorption of digested food in small intestine. Now what happens in case of the food when it enter into the into the small intestine. Now the complete digestion of the food occur. Now this food will enter into the blood vessel. How? So we can write here that the process of absorption is what? That when food enters into the blood vessel, in the wall of the small intestine, in the wall of the small intestine, this process is called absorption. This process is called absorption. This is called as the absorption, students. Okay. Now, what happened here? How the process of absorption take place? So, the inner surface of the intestinal wall consisting of a finger-like a projection that we called as villi, and the role of the villi that it help in increasing the surface area so that the absorption of a food can occur properly. Okay, now this absorbed food each villi is connected to the blood capillaries. So this food from the villi will reaches to the blood, and that we can say the process of the absorption can take place. A process of absorption has taken place. Okay, so we can write it here that how this process has taken place. So, you see that the inner surface of a small intestine has million of tiny finger-like projection that is called as villi. That is called as the villi, students. Okay. What is the role of this villi? It helps in increasing the surface area. It increases the surface area for more absorption, for rapid absorption of food can occur. So that rapid absorption of food can occur. Okay, so what is the role of this tiny finger-like a projection which is present at the lining of the intestinal wall? This is called villi, and villi role is that it helps in increasing the surface area. So if more surface area will be there, then it will help in the rapid absorption of the food material. Okay, so rapid absorption of the food occur, but here each villus has consisting of a blood capillaries, or it is having a network of thin blood vessels are arranged, which we call as a blood capillaries, which is placed or which is present very close to its surface. So we can write here that is each villus has thin network, they have thin and small blood vessel and small blood vessels close to its surface, close to its surface. Each venous and then close to its surface, which we call as blood capillaries, which we call as blood capillaries, which we call as blood capillaries. Okay. Now, food will enter into the blood vessel, and from this blood, you know that it reaches, this food, this glucose will reaches to each and every part of the cell. So we can say that it enter into the blood vessels and carries to each cells of the body. Okay, where the breakdown of the food happens. Okay, so now at each cells, breakdown of the food happen, and that is called as the oxidation of the food. So the food which enter into the blood vessels and reaches to each and every part of the cell, here it undergoes it reaches to the cell, and where the food gets oxidized, it means we can say the breakdown of the food happens here. Okay, so food where the breakdown of the food occur, where the breakdown of the food occurs, and due to which energy is released. So you see that here, whenever a person asks a question to you that why do we need food, we said that we need food in order to get energy. So the first thing here, that how do you get the energy? So this whole process occurs, the process of the digestion that occurs in the mouth, then esophagus, then stomach, then small intestine, then large, then from small intestine reaches to the blood capillaries, then it will reaches to each and every part of the cell, and there the cell will break that of the food. It undergoes the oxidation. The breakdown of the food happen in the cell, and due to which the energy is released. Now this process by which we get energy, that is called as assimilation. We already had discussed about it, that what is assimilation? This is only the assimilation that happen in the human being. So we can say that this process is called assimilation. Okay, this process is called as the assimilation. So assimilation process occur in this small intestine, students. Now what happen in the assimilation here, all the food which is present, all the food nutrient which is present in it will get break down into the smaller components. So if we see that what happened to the glucose, what happened to the protein and that of the fats, and in which form it get converted after the breakdown happens in the cell. So glucose breakdown, glucose which we get it from the carbohydrate, glucose breakdown, in the cell, glucose breakdown in the cells with the help of oxygen to form carbon dioxide, water, and releases energy. If we talk about the fatty acids, so fatty acid and amino acid is also there. So amino acid helps fatty acids are stored as food reserve. Means whenever we need energy, so this fatty acid help in providing the energy. What is the role of the amino acid that we get from the proteins? So protein break down into that of the amino acid, and these amino acid help in growth and repair of the damaged cells or the tissue. So amino acid is also there. Amino acid which are used to make protein, required for the growth and repair of the body. So it helps in the growth and repair of the body. So this is what happened in case of the small intestine. All the nutrients including the carbohydrate, fats and that of the protein, you know that it helps in providing energy, it helps in providing the growth and repair. So how the digestion happen in case of a small intestine we had discussed. Now not only the digestion but how the absorption process takes place in the small intestine. Moving on, and we will see that what is the role of a large intestine in our body. So, in the large intestine. Now, how much long the large intestine is? So, large intestine is about 1.5 meter long. So you can understand here that what is the length of that of the small intestine and then length of the large intestine. So it is quite small in length with that of the small intestine, but because of the width only we used to call it small, and this one we call it large intestine. Okay, so we can say it is called large because of wide tube. Okay, because of wide tube it is called a large intestine. Okay, now what happened? The undigested food, the undigested or unabsorbed food will enter into the large intestine. So the food which is not digested in the small intestine, that will enter into the large intestine. The food which do not get absorbed, the food which do not get digested enter into the large intestine. So the undigested food will enter into the undigested food will enters into the large intestine. The large intestine. It will enter into the large intestine. Okay. Large intestine basically absorbs the water which is present in the unabsorbed or the undigested food material. Okay. So, the large intestine absorbs most of the water, most of the water from the undigested food, material, from the undigested food materials. Now, what does that mean here, student? That when this undigested food enter into the large intestine do nothing but it used to absorb the excess amount of water which is present in the food. Now, whatever the water which is present in the food get absorbed, so it will become a solid substance, because if the water will be present, so it will be a kind of a liquid one or liquid one. But here, since all the liquid is absorbed, or the water is absorbed from the undigested foods, will become a solid or it will become a semi-solid. Okay, so we can say that due to the removal of water, the undigested food becomes semi-solid. It will become semi-solid. Okay. Now this undigested food from that of the large intestine, it will be stored at the last part of the large intestine that we call as the rectum, student. So this undigested food is stored in the last part of the large intestine called rectum. It is called as a rectum. Okay, so after that it is stored in the rectum, and then it will passes out whenever we go for a toilet in the form of a feces from that of the anus. So this is how the food, first of all, we have taken with the help of the mouth, then it will enter into the stomach with the help of the food pipe, then reaches to the small intestine where the full digestion happens, then this undigested portion of the food reaches to the large intestine. The large intestine help in the water which is present in it, and finally the undigested food reaches to the last part of the large intestine, that is called rectum, and from time to time it will passes out through the body. This is how we used to take food inside, and this is how how we used to discharge, how we used to remove the food from our body. Moving on, and we will see here that why do we get hiccups? Why do we get hiccups? Why do we get hiccups? So, if we talk about the hiccups only, students, so here you will find that our food pipe and that of the windpipe, they are very close enough, and they used to meet at a point, and after that they get divided, one into that of the food pipe, enter into the lungs, and other one reaches to that of the stomach. But at a point, there is a point where the both of them, they meet each other. So basically what happened at this point, there is a cartilaginous flap which help in covering the windpipe when we swallow a food. When we eat a food, then to prevent the food to enter into the windpipe rather than into the food pipe. So the windpipe is having a flap like a structure that we call as epiglottis will cover it, and due to which the food will not enter into the windpipe. Instead of that, it will enter into the food pipe. Okay, so that will help in preventing the food to enter into the lungs, enter into the windpipe. Okay, so sometimes what happens when we used to eat food, or when we eat food, if we are laughing or we are talking, then this epiglottis, this cover will get open and the food will enter into the windpipe, and because of that we start coughing, we start showing the hiccups. Okay, so just because that food enters into the windpipe, we get hiccups. So let me write it that when we swallow a food, then a flat piece of cartilage, flat piece of cartilage which is called as epiglottis. Epiglottis is there. Drops over the mouth of the windpipe. Forming a bridge. Over which food passes, and goes into food pipe. So here this will cover that of the windpipe, due to which the food will enter into that of the food pipe. Now when we swallow the food in very hurry, then what happened? So when we swallow the food in hurry or laugh or talking, so the food will enter into the windpipe, and due to which we got hiccups. We get hiccups. Okay? This hiccups, it used to produce a gulping sound, and in Hindi we used to call this hiccups hichki. Okay, so after that we used to cough, we used to drink water or cough. Then what happened? The food will either it will come out, and finally the hiccups will get stopped. So it is because of that how do we get hiccups, students.